It started with a flicker, just a faint blip in the data. Something cold, silent, and fast was moving through our solar system in a way nothing ever had before. Telescopes from Hawaii to South Africa caught it first, and then NASA confirmed it. A new object, uncharted, unbound by gravity's expected rules, and most terrifying of all, it was coming from outside our solar system. At first, it was dismissed as just another rock. But within hours, unsettling patterns began to emerge. Its speed was too fast, its trajectory too precise, its reflections too bright. And when scientists traced its path, what they found made their blood run cold. It was headed straight toward the heart of the solar system. For decades, we've believed space to be silent, still, and indifferent. But now, as this mysterious object barrels through our cosmic neighborhood, the James Webb Space Telescope has turned its gaze upon it. What it has started to reveal may be something we're not prepared for. Because some scientists are now asking a chilling question. What if this isn't just a visitor? What if it's watching us back? First detected between June 25th and June 29th, the object, now officially named 3I Atlas, appeared on the radar of Atlas, a high-speed sky scanning system designed to catch potentially hazardous objects before they can surprise us. But this time, Atlas didn't just find another asteroid. What it found was something far different. This object's speed exceeded 152,000 miles per hour. Its orbit didn't follow any of the known gravitational loops of comets or inner solar system wanderers. And when astronomers ran simulations to trace its path backward, its origin didn't point to the Oort cloud or even Neptune. Instead, its trail led back to interstellar space, possibly even the core of our galaxy. This wasn't a leftover rock from the formation of our solar system. This was something that had been traveling through the dark for tens of thousands of years, completely unseen, until now. And the deeper mystery wasn't just where it came from. It was why now? Because before 2017, we had never detected a single interstellar object. Now we've seen 3, and each one is stranger than the last. After its initial confirmation, scientists around the world scrambled to get observation time on the most powerful space telescope ever built, the James Webb Space Telescope. Designed to peer deeper into time and space than anything before it, Webb was now focused on something much closer and potentially far more unsettling. The object's brightness didn't match its apparent size. Based on the intensity of the light it reflected, it should have been massive. But measurements showed it to be much smaller than expected. This meant its surface wasn't behaving like rock or ice. It was behaving like metal, highly reflective, cold, and possibly even hollow. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who had previously suggested that the 2017 object, Oumuamua, might have been artificial, once again stepped forward. He urged scientists to look for non-gravitational acceleration, tiny deviations in its motion that couldn't be explained by the sun's gravity alone. If such deviations exist, they might suggest that this object isn't drifting, but navigating. And if it's navigating, then we're not just watching a rock. We're watching a decision. To understand the seriousness of this discovery, we have to look at the 2 interstellar objects that came before it. In 2017, Oumuamua burst into the scientific world with its strange elongated shape, its lack of a cometary tail, and its mysterious acceleration after passing the sun despite showing no evidence of outgassing or propulsion. Then in 2019, Borisov entered the picture. It was clearly a comet, but it was faster and more volatile than anything we'd ever observed. Both of these objects left scientists with more questions than answers. But 3I Atlas is different. It combines the inexplicable brightness of Oumuamua with the unusual trajectory of Borisov. It doesn't behave like a rock, but it also doesn't fit neatly into the category of a comet. And now astronomers are beginning to consider something even more radical. These may not be isolated events. They may be part of a pattern, a wave, a slow and deliberate sequence of contact disguised as randomness. Because for centuries, our skies were empty. Then suddenly they weren't. And the only variable that changed was us. Among all the scientific papers, trajectory models, and observational data lies one question that no institution dares to address publicly. What if it's not natural? When you strip away everything that doesn't make sense, when the brightness is too high, when the path is too sharp, and when the motion isn't gravitational, you're left with a possibility too terrifying for most to even whisper aloud: artificiality. Not aliens in the Hollywood sense, not flying saucers and green faces, but probes, autonomous systems, artificial messengers sent long ago from places far away. Avi Loeb suggests that we may have already missed a message from Oumuamua and that 3I Atlas could be our second chance. Its surface properties, its anomalous speed, and the timing of its arrival all point toward intentionality, or at least engineering. The James Webb Space Telescope will continue to monitor its thermal signature, spin, and trajectory. But what if the answers we're about to uncover aren't about what it is, but about who sent it? Because in a cosmos that's 13.8 billion years old, the most terrifying discovery wouldn't be that we're alone. It would be that we've been watched all along, and only now are we intelligent enough to notice. As days passed, data from the James Webb Space Telescope and its network of supporting ground-based observatories began to converge on something deeply unsettling. The object was accelerating ever so slightly, and not in a way that solar radiation pressure could explain. This wasn't cometary outgassing. There was no tail, no particle plume, no traceable emission. And yet, the object continued to shift its trajectory, slipping past predicted paths with an eerie level of precision. Webb's infrared instruments confirmed a faint but steady thermal signature. It wasn't chaotic like that of an icy body. It was stable, patterned, and seemingly directed. This anomaly mirrored the strange behavior seen in Oumuamua, where similar unexplained acceleration caused quiet panic behind closed scientific doors. That event was brushed aside. But this time, it wasn't dismissed. It was carefully measured, tracked, and now feared. Because the ability to accelerate without any visible force suggests something different, something with control. And for the first time, whispers began circulating in internal memos, words that scientists couldn't yet say publicly. We're not just observing this object. We might be under observation too. With Webb's advanced instruments focused directly on the mysterious object, a team at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center performed a full spectral analysis. They expected to detect familiar elements: silicates, iron, ice, the typical building blocks of asteroids and comets. But what they found instead shattered expectations. The surface composition didn't match any known asteroid or comet classification. Certain absorption lines in the data suggested the presence of advanced carbon structures, ones far more associated with engineered materials than with natural geology. In simpler terms, it looked manufactured. Its reflectivity was unusually high, and there were hints of symmetry in the way it rotated, something virtually unheard of in random space debris. One side absorbed more heat than the other, which could indicate intentional design. Even more baffling were the fluctuations in electromagnetic readings, hinting at internal complexity, perhaps even cavities or layered density. This wasn't a typical rock drifting through space. And if it wasn't a rock, what was it? That question began to echo from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to the European Southern Observatory, all the way to the classified halls of national defense agencies. Because if nature didn't make this, someone did. As the public's fascination with the object grew, a new kind of silence began creeping in. The same agencies that had initially released trajectory data and light curves, NASA, ESA, and India's ISRO, suddenly pulled back. Mission pages stopped updating. Observational timelines quietly disappeared. Requests for raw Webb telescope data were denied, citing internal review. FOIA requests submitted by journalists returned heavily redacted documents, and whispers began leaking from inside observatories. Researchers were being quietly pulled from teams, specialists reassigned, and access to telescope feeds suddenly restricted. The public, who had initially been fed a narrative of curiosity, was now met with closed doors and silence. But what changed? Analysts in the astrophysics community began to suspect that something had been discovered, something extraordinary, and that governments weren't just trying to understand it, but deciding how much the public should be allowed to know. Because once a discovery crosses a certain threshold, one that challenges the very frameworks of physics, security, or belief, it no longer belongs solely to science. It becomes a matter of control. And control in space isn't just about signals. It's about silence. As this object continued its silent glide through our solar system, a new realization began to dawn across the scientific community. This was no longer just a data point. It was an inflection point, a moment where centuries of assumptions about space, solitude, and humanity's place in the cosmos were being shattered. If this object is artificial, then it came from a civilization far older than ours, one capable of engineering something that could endure millennia in the void of deep space, something that might not need to speak because its very existence is a message. And if it isn't artificial, then we've discovered a natural phenomenon so advanced and so rare that it mimics design itself to the point of deception. Either way, the conclusion is the same. Our understanding of the universe is incomplete. The James Webb Space Telescope has held up a mirror to that ignorance. We are no longer staring into the void. The void, perhaps, is staring back, and what it sees might finally be worthy of its attention. As the mystery escalated, an even more unsettling idea began circulating, not in public conferences or peer-reviewed papers, but in hushed, encrypted conversations between scientists. What if this object, this silent interstellar visitor, was never meant to be discovered by chance? What if the timing of its arrival, the evolution of our instruments, and the positioning of the James Webb Telescope were all converging now for a reason? What if this wasn't an artifact drifting through space, but a probe, a test, waiting to be detected by a civilization that had finally reached a certain level of technological maturity? A silent signal saying, "You're intelligent enough to find us. Now let's see what you do next." Think about it. For billions of years, there has been radio silence. No messages. No obvious visitors. No undeniable signals. And yet, now, as artificial intelligence advances, quantum physics accelerates, and humanity reaches beyond Mars, something appears. Something quiet, precise, and intriguing enough to pull our greatest telescope away from its mission to study the distant universe, forcing it to focus on this single anomaly. Could this be the moment where we become the data point? Where our reactions, our science, our fears, and our silence are all being recorded as part of someone or something else's experiment? Because maybe the most chilling part of this discovery isn't what we've seen. It's the possibility that we've never been the observers at all. The James Webb Space Telescope was built to peer into the deep past, to trace the birth of stars, to decode the origins of galaxies, to pull back the veil on the first moments of time. But instead, it has found something here, now, and possibly watching us back. Not at the edge of the universe, but crossing our own cosmic threshold. An object too perfect to be random, too silent to be ordinary, and too well-timed to be coincidence. We were looking for answers. Instead, we found a mirror, a silent, gliding enigma reflecting not just infrared light, but our deepest insecurities. Are we alone? Have we ever been? Or were we simply never advanced enough to notice what's been passing us by all along? What Webb has revealed is not just a mysterious object. It's the start of a new language, one that might include concepts we're not ready to define. Whether this object is artificial or natural, intelligent or accidental, one truth is undeniable. We've crossed into a new era of cosmic awareness. Our telescopes no longer just show us stars. They reveal the vast depth of what we don't know, and maybe what someone else already does. This wasn't a warning light. It was a test pattern. And now the question isn't whether we'll find something out there. It's whether something has already found us. If this story sent a chill down your spine, if it made you question everything we thought we knew about the universe, if it forced you to wonder who's really looking through the lens, don't walk away in silence. Subscribe to this channel because we follow the signals others ignore. Turn on notifications because the next object might not just be passing by. Share this video with someone who still believes we're alone in the dark.